So the next one is hormones. Okay, balancing hormones is very important, and there's multiple hormones that are related to weight gain or weight loss. Cortisol. You guys know about cortisol?
Stress.
Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. What was that?
Stress hormone.
Yes. So anytime we're under stress, we release cortisol. Okay? Cortisol is a hormone that suppresses digestion. So again, if we're really stressed out, digestion is going to be inhibited. Then that food is going to hang out in our gut and cause an inflammation. And now we're bloated and not feeling good and not digesting that food and gassy and all the things that I hear every day in these doctor offices. So we're just here to kind of educate you on that, cortisol. And there's two types of stress. There's internal stressors, which are food sensitivities, what I'm talking about right now. Parasites, bacteria, yeast, heavy metals. Those are just a few of the sensitivities that I deal with on a daily basis. External stressors, I think we all know about. Driving to work, spouses, kids, all those things that, just, paying the bills. Sometimes that's stress. We all have that, but how do we manage that? So exercise is a great way to manage stress. Helps alleviate that, stimulates the good hormones.
Yoga.
Yoga's perfect for that, yes.
You got to clear the mind and dump it on your mat.
So some of the glands that are important in organs are the adrenal glands. That's the gland that releases cortisol and the good hormone, DHEA. If you guys ever heard of DHEA, that's the hormone that counteracts all the negative things that cortisol does. That's its counterpart, okay? So those adrenal glands are so important. So when somebody comes to me fatigued and they wake up and they just can't even move, they're probably in adrenal exhaustion, and we need to support those glands, okay? Another important gland is the thyroid. So gluten and soy suppress the thyroid. The thyroid is your metabolism. It's like your thermostat of your body, okay? So if you're suppressing that every day, you get the hypothyroidism, and then the doctors tell you to take some hormones that stimulate the thyroid, and Jamie Lee was telling you, you've had that issue, you said, and yoga actually completely
14 years on thyroid medication.
Yeah, so it's just amazing things how exercise can do it, and not eating those foods. If you get anything out of today, no gluten, no dairy, and do it for 30 days. Okay, don't do it for the lifetime, do it for 30 days, and then implement one of those foods at a time for 3 days and see how you feel. I've had clients lose 15 pounds in a month, and they started consuming gluten, and guess what happened? I gained 6 pounds in 2 days. So, because that inflammation holds on to a lot of water, that would also cause that weight gain. So really be aware after those 30 days. But I'll walk you guys through that, whoever wants to, it's going to be for all the members here. I'm going to include that in your membership, is talking about the elimination diet and really educating you guys. So, alrighty. Insulin and glucagon are also important hormones. Insulin is released when you eat a lot of sugar. Glucagon is that hormone that burns fat. So insulin stores fat, glucagon burns fat. So which one would you guys like?
Glucagon.
Okay, good. Nobody said insulin. That's good. That's a good thing. So how do we stimulate glucagon? Eating lean proteins with some fat, some good fats, avocado, some raw nuts, olive oil on the salads, coconut oil, like I've been saying over and over again. Very good with that. Exercise is one of the best ways to stimulate glucagon. So walking, exercising, the bands, whatever you can do, definitely incorporate that into your program. Who here has heard of xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens? You guys ever hear those words before?
I know phyto, but not xeno.
Okay, well this is why I brought this up, because this is part of the new thing I'm talking about in these 5 secrets, because I did this before in October, and I know some of you have been here for that talk, so I wanted to incorporate some new things. So xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens are outside estrogens, okay? And we consume those. How many have heard of estrogen dominance? Have you guys heard of estrogen being dominant? You're like, okay, I'm estrogen dominant. Well, what is it from? Phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens come from plastic bottles, okay? So I know we're all drinking plastic today, and it's going to happen, but just understand that we eventually want to get to a non-toxic bottle, like a
BPA free.
Exactly, stainless steel, one of the hard plastics that don't leach, petroleum, because that's what it's made out of. These plastics are made out of petroleum, and those chemicals leach into the water, and we're consuming those on a daily basis. I have some people that drink 10 bottles a day, and they got to realize that that's probably not the healthiest thing to do. Or, and it's 1,000 times stronger, the xenoestrogens, than your regular estrogen in your body. So it goes to the receptor, the estrogen receptors, and it fills those receptors up. So your normal estrogen is just floating in your body, and you become estrogen dominant. And it's almost impossible to lose weight unless you realize that and you take some things that could maybe lower that estrogen. Phytoestrogens, soy. Okay? So there's xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens, and again, I could talk for a whole hour on just that topic right there alone. Yes?
How would you know if you're estrogen dominant?
You would take a saliva test or a blood test, like that saliva test that we did. You would totally see it on there if it's elevated. Good question. So the phytoestrogens, soy. That's why I tell people always eliminate soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen, and it stimulates that estrogen, and it creates estrogen dominance. I've had so many complaints about mothers who have fed their kids soy formula from when they were infants, and now they're like, it's just the symptoms and side effects and the things that they're experiencing. I can't say it's soy, but in my opinion, I would say it's soy. So what can you do? You can take a test to find out. You can avoid plastic bottles, heating in plastic, styrofoam, taking foods that, like the meats and the eggs that have a lot of these estrogens already in them, the hormones that I was talking about, because every animal is fed hormones, right? Because a farmer, he wants that chicken to be 50 pounds instead of 20 pounds. So they actually feed those chickens, not only that, but arsenic. KFC, there was a big study out there that KFC was using arsenic with their chickens because arsenic screws the metabolism up.
And ammonia.
And yeah, it's great. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
And this is all about, I just want to emphasize, it's about education. I know there's a lot of things that don't make sense right now, and you may go back and go, I don't know what he's talking about. Do your own research. Talk to your, other providers that, health providers that may know some of this info. Go on the internet. Ask me. I got all these links to all this research.
Real quick, what's that documentary that you watched?
That's one of them.
Food
There's like
is
3 or 4 of them
fantastic.
out there. Food Incorporated.
Forks and knives.
There's so many of them. But yeah.